Today on Rappler, the president's sisters say they're open to the idea of Aquino endorsing Vice President Binay. 2 years after Rappler reported he's alive, the military admits top terrorist Marwan was last seen in Cotabato. And after 35 years, an Argentine woman finds her grandson stolen by the dictatorship in the 70s. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. Chris Aquino says she and her sisters are discussing the possibility of their brother endorsing Vice President Binay. Aquino's sisters are Balzi, Pinky, and Viel. In her evening show on ABS-CBN, she said, "We are not enemies, and if he is going to continue what Noy has started, why not?" Chris made it clear she's not speaking for her brother, President Aquino, only her sisters. She adds, everything is possible in politics. Talk of the possibility of Aquino endorsing Binay started with the president's fifth State of the Nation address. In his speech, the president talked about the time he was ambushed with Binay in 1987. Binay said in several interviews he's open to becoming the administration's candidate despite heading the main opposition party, United Nationalist Alliance. But LP party stalwart and Senate President Frank Drilon said it's just the spin masters having their day. Drilon says the Liberal Party has not wavered in its support for party mate and Binay rival Mar Rojas for 2016. The Philippines asserts its new Triple Action Plan, or TAP, as a solution to the dispute in the South China Sea or the West Philippine Sea. A key feature of TAP is a moratorium on aggression in the disputed seas. TAP is composed of an immediate, intermediate, and final approach to resolve South China Sea disputes. The Philippines was responding to China's statement that it can build what it wants in the South China Sea, saying the Spratly Islands are China's intrinsic territory. Philippine Foreign Secretary Albert Del Rosario accuses China of reclamation activities on disputed islands as part of its expansion agenda. The Philippines says at least 3 countries in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, support the TAP. The country will propose the plan at the ASEAN ministerial meeting in Myanmar this week. The death toll for the magnitude 6.1 earthquake that shook the province of Yunnan in China Sunday goes up to 410. The quake destroyed 80,000 houses and seriously damaged 124,000 more. Mountainside village Longtaosan, the epicenter of Sunday's quake, has a population of more than 50,000. Nearly every building was demolished by the quake. China's state broadcaster CCTV raises the possibility of another disaster in the area after a landslide blocked a river. The barrier could burst within days, endangering at least 800 people. British Airways canceled flights to 2 West African countries as Saudi Arabia's first suspected Ebola case sparks fears of a possible global contagion. But the fight to contain the virus in West Africa has been hampered by distrustful locals discharging highly contagious patients from hospitals. Patients are taken back to die in their villages where they can infect many more. In response, Sierra Leone deploys troops to guard quarantined Ebola patients. Some even believe the virus was introduced deliberately by outsiders or is a hoax fabricated by Westerners to subjugate them. Ebola is a deadly tropical virus that causes severe fever and, in the worst cases, unstoppable bleeding. It claimed the lives of almost 900 people in 4 West African nations since the start of 2014. Sierra Leone had 646 cases, the highest number of any nation, with 273 deaths. Typhoon Halong, local name Jose, weakened slightly, but State Weather Bureau Pagasa warns monsoon rain in northern and central Luzon may trigger landslides and flash floods. In its 5 p.m. bulletin Wednesday, Pagasa says Metro Manila and the rest of Luzon will experience occasional rain. Visayas and Mindanao will have fair weather with cloudy skies, bringing isolated rain showers or thunderstorms. Jose was spotted 745 kilometers east of Basco, Batanes at 4 p.m. Wednesday. It had winds of up to 150 kilometers per hour with gustiness of up to 180 kilometers per hour. Pagasa predicts Jose will be out of the Philippine area of responsibility Thursday morning. Check out Rappler's Project Agos microsite, a one-stop shop to help the public prepare better for disasters. Project Agos aims to raise awareness on climate change adaptation and disaster risk reduction and management. You can see what to do before, during, and after natural disasters like floods and earthquakes. Visit www.rappler.com/Project Agos. The Philippine military confirms senior Jemaah Islamiyah or JI leader Zulkifli bin Hir, better known as Marwan, is alive. In February 2012, the military claimed 3 terrorists died when 2 OV-10 Broncos dropped their bombs on an Abu Sayyaf hideout in Lanao Bato, Sulu. Abu Sayyaf leader Umbra Jumdail, known as Dr. Abu, Singaporean Muhammad Ali, known as Muawiyah, and the Malaysian Marwan. Marwan was reportedly working with a dozen remaining JI members in the Philippines. Intelligence Chief Major General Eduardo Año says Marwan was last seen in Cotabato in the southern Philippines. It was the first time the military confirmed Marwan is alive after a military spokesman categorically claimed he had been killed. 2 years ago, in 2012, Rappler reported Marwan escaped the airstrike that targeted JI leaders. Año confirms there was no concrete evidence showing Marwan was killed during the military offensive. Año says, quote, "We cannot declare he's dead, but there are a lot of indications that he is still alive." Año adds the military has been doing intensified and focused operations against remaining JI members in the Philippines. The UN Security Council warns ethnic minority group Yazidi near the Syrian border is in danger of being massacred or starved into extinction. The warning comes after the town of Sinjar fell to Islamic State or IS fighters Sunday, sending Yazidi fleeing into the mountains. The Yazidi is a closed community following an ancient faith rooted in Zoroastrianism. The jihadists call them devil worshippers. Yazidi lawmaker Vian Dakhil broke down in tears during a parliament session as she urged the government to save her community from IS terrorists, formerly known as ISIS. Dakhil said 30,000 Yazidi families are besieged with no water and food. She said 70 children and 30 elderly have already died, mostly because of thirst. Dakhil said 500 Yazidi men were killed by militants since Sunday. The women were enslaved as war booty. She said, quote, "We are being slaughtered. Our entire religion is being wiped off the face of the earth." Iraqi helicopters dropped supplies to thousands of desperate people hiding in the mountains. A surrogacy case involving an Australian couple and a Thai woman draws international attention. The Thai woman, a mother of twins, claims the Australian couple only took the healthy baby girl and decided to leave her twin brother who had Down syndrome. The mother vows to raise a 7-month-old boy and even offers to take back the twin sister. But the Australian couple says the woman is, quote, misleading the world because they did not know the boy had Down syndrome. The case gets more complicated after revelations the Australian father had been convicted several times for child sex offenses. After 35 years, the long-lost grandson of an Argentine activist is found. The grandmother leads a human rights group which finds babies stolen in the 70s. Estela Carlota of the Grandmothers of the Plaza de Mayo group was told her daughter's kidnapped son was found after DNA tests confirm his identity. The man is named Ignacio Urban and lives in Olavarria, a city south of Buenos Aires. His biological mother, Laura Carlotto, was kidnapped while pregnant during the dictatorship's dirty war against leftists and dissidents. A fellow captive says she gave birth on June 26, 1978 in captivity and was killed shortly after. The Grandmothers and the Mothers of the Plaza de Mayo leads a nationwide effort to reunite an estimated 500 children taken from leftists and government opponents during the dictatorship. As many as 30,000 leftists are presumed to have been murdered during Argentina's dirty war. In many instances, their children were taken by ruling families and raised as their own. Tens of thousands of people gathered in Hiroshima Wednesday to mark the 69th anniversary of the atomic bomb. Bells tolled as aging survivors, relatives, government officials, and foreign delegates observed a moment of silence in the rain when the detonation turned the western Japanese city into an inferno. Hiroshima Mayor Kazumi Matsui urges people to listen to the voice of survivors as he delivered a speech. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and U.S. Ambassador to Japan Caroline Kennedy also attended the ceremony. The U.S. dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima on August 6, 1945, in one of the final chapters of World War II. On August 9th, the port city of Nagasaki was also bombed, killing an estimated 70,000 people. Japan surrendered days later on August 15, 1945, bringing World War II to a close. Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 4, a renowned Japanese stem cell scientist was found dead in an apparent suicide Tuesday. Yoshiki Sasai was found hanging inside the stairwell of one of the country's most prestigious scientific research institutions. He left behind farewell notes. Sasai co-wrote a research on transplant tissue. Hailed as a game changer, it was later retracted after accusations of false data. At number 7, a Russian crime ring gathers the largest known collection of stolen internet credentials. The New York Times reports 1.2 billion usernames, passwords, and more than 500 million email addresses are on the list. The disclosure comes as hackers and security companies gather in Las Vegas for the annual Black Hat Security Conference. And at number 8, for New York-based Filipino Warren Villanueva, serendipity doesn't just happen in the movies. Villanueva tells Rappler he met his girlfriend Janina Pangilinan for the first time in 2014, 3 years after they first connected online. One day, he was approached by Brandon Stanton, the creator of popular Facebook page Humans of New York, and asked to pose for a picture. Villanueva agreed and asked Stanton to write about his long-distance relationship so that he could tag Pangilinan online. That post quickly went viral. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Space probe Rosetta makes a historic rendezvous with a comet Wednesday. The European Space Agency, or ESA, says this is the climax of a 10-year, 6 billion kilometer chase through the solar system. Rosetta's rendezvous with comet 67P was confirmed at 9:29 GMT or 5:29 p.m. Manila time, at a distance of 400 million kilometers from Earth. It is the first time for a spacecraft to ever go into orbit around a comet. ESA Director General Jean-Jacques Dordain says Rosetta is the fruit of 20 years' work. He adds, "Understanding our origins is certainly the best way to understand our future." Astrophysicists believe comets are ancient ice and dust left from the building of the solar system around 4.6 billion years ago. Understanding its chemical ID and physical composition will give insights into how the planets were formed. Dozens of Australians in the city of Perth tilt a train Wednesday to free a commuter whose leg was trapped between a carriage and the platform. CCTV footage showed the commuter was about to board when he slipped and was jammed between the carriage and the platform. An eyewitness says passengers were initially told to move to the opposite side of the train to help dislodge the man. When that failed, 50 passengers lined up to tilt the carriage away from the man. Transperth says it's the first time this happened and that it was people power. The man was treated by paramedics and was able to catch a later train. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter, which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes down to the mood navigator in the middle of the front page that crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories that have affected our readers and viewers the most emotionally. If you take a look, these 10 stories have gotten the most number of votes on their mood meter. Let's take a look today. We have the story Aquino sisters open to endorsing Binay. Interestingly, 25% annoyed, 45% angry. Russian hackers steal passwords of billions users, 73% angry, 5% afraid. That yellow coming out in the story that's gotten the most number of votes in the last 24 hours. This is a story about a Hong Kong couple salted and cooked by son. 31% angry, 39% afraid. That yellow bringing out the mood of the day. Today, most people are afraid. That is Rappler's Newscast for today, Wednesday, August 6, 2014. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.